You have an Elvis mural in your office.
Yeah.
And you left tickets to Elvis at a race. Or do you still do that?
I grew up, I was all about, I was country music, but I was a California boy. But my family are from the Indian reservation, and this ain't like that Warren lady that said she was an Indian, so I ain't making that up. And I don't do politics. Okay, but what I'm saying is, my mom was born in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. She's off Indian reservation, and my sister, do you just make this up? No, Cindy, I don't. But it's what I believe. And going down the road, what was the question?
Elvis Presley.
Oh, but I grew up on because I'm an Okie, you know what I mean? And I grew up in a little town in Bell Gardens. Everybody in that town was from Arkansas and Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I love music, but the Beach Boys were big. The Beatles came along in the 60s. You know what I mean? I didn't shake Kennedy's wife, but I was with a group. I mean, Kennedy's wife, Kennedy, not John F. Because he, you know, we lost him when I was in 9th grade. But in 10th grade in high school, I went up to East LA Junior College, and Bobby did a parade down through the town, and we parked on a street illegally. We all ran up in our Chevrolets, and they all ran up there, and the girls all shook his hand, and then he went downtown, and he ended up was assassinated. But how'd I get on that?
I don't know.
Elvis.
Oh,
Still trying to talk to
Elvis. But I
Elvis.
did Elvis Presley. You know, I did songs when I was in 5th grade. I'd go on the stage. I had long hair. I didn't have sideburns. Yeah, I'm Indian. I haven't got no hair on my body. So anyway, but I did Elvis impersonations.
Really?
And I come in second in the show one time. But yeah, I just was a big fan of Elvis. So when I got to put my car in Graceland with Rusty Wallace, it was the coolest deal. And to go to Graceland, and I just followed him. But then the Beatles, and of course, then it just all evolved. But I'm still to this day, I still sing Elvis.
But you left tickets for Elvis at a race?
Yep, wanted him to come. And I bought one of the last tickets. A fan actually got it. I bought one at auction, but a fan was going up to Maine or somewhere, a big Elvis deal up there in the north. And he had a ticket because Elvis was killed or passed. Yeah. And he gave me the ticket, and I got it in my museum. And it's just stuff that matters to me. I got Marilyn Monroe, you know, on my wall, and John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. I'm just a collector of stuff like that. And
I have had. I've got an Elvis room in my house.
Yeah.
A whole room. So I'm a big Elvis fan too. When I was a little boy, and Dad was off racing.
He's still a little boy.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when Dad would race, sometimes I'd go stay with his mom, my mamaw, and Martha. Huge Elvis fan, and she played Elvis all the time. So I became and she had figurines, you know, the little wine bottles, the head pops off and all that.
Yeah.
She had a house full of Elvis stuff, and so I became an Elvis fan, and I've always had a room in my house that's dedicated to Elvis. And so I wanted to know more about your fandom for Elvis and leaving tickets. Had he passed away? Were you leaving the tickets after he passed away, thinking that he was still alive?
I saw Elvis at 1,000 foot at Memphis when I was on fire. And let me tell you something. I crawled out on my hands and knees. I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
And I remember I was praying to God, like, let me stand. Let me get up out of this thing. I'll go back to church. I'll quit. I'll finish the Bible. That was 40 years ago. And I crawled out of there. And I stood up. My TV guy said, "What did you see?" But my brain snapped right out of that fear mode, just like you guys do. And I went, I saw Elvis at 1,000 foot, and they made a book out of it. And I never got a penny from that. Somebody wrote a book. I saw Elvis at 1,000 feet. But you just grow up with people that you love.
Yeah.
I was never a Beatles fan, even though, you know, I loved some of their songs. You know, Gideon's Bible, everything religious I read. I go in my hotel room at night and fall out. Yeah.
Did you ever see Elvis play?
No, never did.
Yeah.
Of all the 3 people I want to meet one day. Seriously, okay. I want to meet your daddy again. I want to meet Elvis and Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 good ones
good-
right there.
That's
Somebody
my
try to
plan.
beat that list.
What was your favorite? I guess, version of Elvis? Was it?
I loved his gospel.
Me too.
The music that he sang, and you know, I'll still go into a crowd of people and I'm trying to get them up, and you got this big crowd. You've done it, and some days you go, I got to find myself. You talked about a lot of things in the book that you're very truthful in the book when you talked about, I'd go places sometimes and it was just overload, it was the masses of people with your fan base. I can't even imagine it. But you said, and then at the end, but now I realize how much it really meant to me. You know what I'm saying? That you were stepping out of the seat and what those people meant that time in the press room and with the drivers and stuff. And you're still here, so you're still doing it, and the fans still got you.
Yeah.
Who's got a bitch? I ain't got no complaints. He's still here. So in the middle of it, I'd walk into a crowd. I did a show once in I can't even remember where, but it was snowing, and I went into this deal, and there was a giant line, and your dad was standing on the stage, okay? And I thought, oh my God, and I looked over, and there was 2 drunken Canadians standing in mine, and I thought, I got to go over there with 2 people, and my sponsors are all there looking, and I got over there, and okay, started, and somebody applauded. I said, thank you very much. Trying to give the old Elvis, trying to get a little attention, because everybody wanted your dad, just like you, when you're out there. And so I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden your dad goes, Force, and I never even knew him. He said, get over here. And so I went over and he goes, okay, everybody, John Force is here. And everybody started applauding. And my sponsors go, wow, they all know you. They didn't have a clue who I was. But your dad saw that moment that he really cared. That's why I knew he had a big heart. He was going to take this little guy that nobody cared about, but he knew I needed that sponsor. And he was bringing me over there and put me in his line, and we signed autographs. And that is a picture I have in my museum today.
Really?
That I got down on the stage and I kissed his ring. And it was the most awesome deal. And I've got the photograph of me down on my knees kissing your dad's ring, and he's laughing like, get up, stupid. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
But when I was inducted into the Hall of Fame for Driver of the Year, I was the first drag racer to ever get it. Your dad come through with his entourage. Everybody was dressed in black. I'll never forget this. Walked in like, oh man, even security would not question him. You know what I mean? And you don't realize it now. You're the same way, Junior, that with what we look, but that's the era and what you accomplished, like your dad, that's so amazing. And even Don Perdome said to me the other day, he's still my hero. Don Perdome was out there, NHRA's got rules. Can't be on the starting line throwing sponsors off. No, don't throw the sponsor off. And in the middle of it, somebody questioned Don Perdome, do you have a pass to be up here?
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Don Perdome, it's like talking to Jesus. You don't question,
right.
Or like an Earnhardt, you don't question the situation. And I went over and I said, that's Don Perdome. And Perdome said, hold it, Forrest, stand here. He wanted to hear this guy because he was going to have this security guy thrown off the start line. Because you don't talk to Don Perdome. He's still my hero. I'm still chasing him. I'm still trying to walk like him. These guys are my heroes. Gartlets, they don't understand where I came from. That it was all about them. I lived it. My wife says, I think you love them all more than me. But you do. You know what I'm saying? Because they were a way of life just to want to be like them and hear the cheer of the crowd. And I'm still trying. I'll get there someday.
That happened to Richard Petty once when he was going into the track. Have you heard this story?
No.
And one of the gate guards said they needed a credential, and his response.
Recently?
It was a few years ago, and he said, "This is my credential."
I get TV cameras that'll say to me, John, would you take off your glasses? And I said, first of all, would you ask Richard Petty to take off his glasses?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why are you asking me? What am I, dog meat here or what?